Hey everybody, it's Chief Zero here. Thank you so much for watching my first ever Gears of War 4 video. This will be a spoiler-free review, so don't worry about any sort of story surprises. Now, before we begin, I'd like to ask all of you to please help my channel grow by liking and sharing this video with all of your friends. I play other games as well, which you'll be able to see at the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified whenever my new videos are out as well. Thank you so much for your time. Now, let's begin with our review for Gears of War 4. Alright, so if I can describe Gears of War 4 using only 4 words, it'd probably be these. Goddamn son of a bitch. Why? Because this game was insanely difficult. Not for the reason that you're thinking. Yes, I did play this on insane mode, as you can obviously see right now. This is the actual gameplay footage of me playing. But it's not for the reason that you're thinking. Throughout my time with Gears of War 4, I was met with a lot of annoyances that I can only describe as goddamn stupid AI. Most of the time, whenever I failed in a mission, it was mainly because of my AI comrades. They either kept standing in my way, kept dying because they only stood there, did not shoot back at the enemies, which was really unfortunate because even though I love being a medic, I want to finish the goddamn game. Like, let's be real. I spent at least almost 20 hours just trying to beat this game on insane mode because I'm not gonna be a pussy and play this on like normal mode. Like, what are you talking about? This is Gears of War. Unfortunately for Gears of War 4, it suffered from a lot of issues with pacing. Most of the time you would go into a room, fight some enemies, clear them out, walk into a hallway that leads to another room, and you fight more enemies. That's basically it. All the way until you reach the end boss at each act, which, however, I will say that the boss battles in Gears of War 4 are some of the best that I've been able to play in a long time. These were the parts that I was looking forward to the most, simply because each boss was unique and you had to defeat them in a crazy different Gears of War styled way, and that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. However, it's the in-between areas of literally everything else that was more like a chore than anything. As you follow the story of J.D. Phoenix, the son of Marcus Phoenix, who is played by Liam McIntyre, by the way. If you've ever watched Spartacus on the Star Show or even watched The Flash, he's in that too. It's really cool. As you follow his story, you realize that a lot of this Gears 4 is the same as the Gears of War trilogy. The game does not spend a lot of time going over exposition because they assume that you've already played the original trilogy, which is good for pacing issues because you don't want to linger on the history of Gears of War for too long. That's basically what the tutorial levels was about, a rehashing of the history behind Gears of War 4 with some spectacular locations from the Pendulum Wars, Emergence Day, and even throughout Gears of War 3. All of these locations have been revisited and they look stunningly beautiful in the new Xbox One hardware. While the beginning of Gears of War 4 plays out to a new set of heroes and you get to learn more about them, the second half of it plays on more fan service, on what the players want to see in the Gears of War trilogy. And mind you, they deliver. I couldn't help but feel welled up inside each time I saw Marcus Phoenix as an old man, or even some of the other characters from the original trilogy pop up randomly, or even hear their names being spoken about. A lot of the time they do play kind of vague on who's who and what someone else from the original trilogy is up to, but if you've played the Gears of War franchise before, you know who they're talking about. And you can't help but feel excited and just be like, oh wow, they're still alive? Oh my gosh, and they did this and now they're in charge of that? It's amazing. I couldn't help but just love it so much. With this being a new step into another Gears of War franchise, the ending was obviously left open for further games, and boy was it actually kind of intense. The game kind of led you on in one direction throughout the most of the game to decide on the fate of one of the characters that you meet along the way. And in the very last second, right before the credits hit, you're hit with something completely unthought of. And it was one of the best experiences in the game because I personally thought that this game was going to be another just cash in, let's do this story, move on with some of these characters, and then let's be done with it. But no, in fact, those last 5 seconds of that game really got my mind thinking of wondering what was gonna happen next to some of these characters, because it's such a weird small thing that you see, but it opens up the doors to many sort of possibilities and a lot of new story arcs that could happen with these characters, that is going to be very interesting to see what happens in the future of these characters. And I, for one, am excited to see this. I was incredibly frustrated. I cursed the shit out of this game, even as I'm doing it right now, because I'm still so pissed off about it in some cases, because I was just so frustrated with some of the mechanics. It's like how I said earlier, it's one thing for the game to actually be difficult because your survivability is low, but it should not be that the game's mechanics is what's holding you back. And in some cases, as I'll show you here in a little bit, some of these enemies aren't even looking at you and they're shooting at you point blank and killing you in 2 shots. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's what upsets me most about Gears of War 4. The rest of the game, it's amazing. I loved it. The graphics are amazing. It looks stunning. And I can't actually wait to play it in 4K. That is going to be beautiful. I love it. I love it. I want more of it. However, I just want them to fix some of the mechanics in it. I don't like spending literally 4 hours, I have the footage to prove it, 4 hours stuck on a single boss fight simply because either my AI got in the way and I couldn't get into cover, or a huge monster beast keeps killing me while I'm behind cover, or when he's looking 90 degrees away from me but still being able to shoot me without even looking at me. That part was the most frustrating of all, and I hope that is something that gets addressed in the next title. You obviously can't have Gears of War without multiplayer, and Gears of War 4 brings it in spades. Specifically built for competitive gaming, Gears of War 4 allows a vast majority of options for your characters, including skins for your weapons, character models, even bounties to complete. Bounties are this new mechanic where you get to select a goal, basically, like complete a match playing as this character, or achieve this many assists or kills or headshots, etc., and you're rewarded with either items from the game or experience points to level up. The mechanics in Gears of War 4 multiplayer are as crisp as ever. The sounds are still amazing and satisfying to hear when you chainsaw someone or you snipe them in the face. They sound crisp, awesome, and enjoyable each and every time. Multiplayer is still one of the funnest aspects of Gears of War 4, and they're doing a great job with it. Horde mode is also back with 3.0. The co-op version of multiplayer. It's insanely fun as well. Getting to reach wave 50 is still a challenge, but as you work together with 4 other people, I'm sure you'll be able to beat it. There are class systems in this as well, just as there was in Judgment. It's one of the most challenging things to face off when you're on insane mode, but still one of the most satisfying things ever once you reach rank wave 10 and beat the boss, and knowing that you still have 40 waves left to go. It seems daunting at first, but when you have a good team and you have your communication on point, it's one of the most satisfying experiences out there. I do also have to address the fact that a lot of Gears players, such as myself, and I'm sure a lot of you hardcore players, compare the mechanics of each new Gears of War game with the one from its previous entries. Gears of War 4 plays more like Gears of War 3 than any of the other games, whereas Gears of War 1 was a lot faster paced, smooth, fluid, and everything. Gears of War 2 was a lot more heavy, slower. It focused more on the cover system. Gears of War 3 hit a perfect balance, in my opinion, with speed, mobility, and even the cover system. Gears of War 4 follows suit with that, with omnidirectional jumping, the satisfying movements of cover-to-cover systems, including jumping over cover to surprise someone with a Gnasher to the face. Gears of War 4 still hits that mark with mobility, and it's amazing, and it's fast-paced, still intense, because you know everybody else can move just as fast as you, and you have to be on your toes each and every time, because they also added verticality in these maps just like they did in Judgment, and that is a very welcomed addition to the Gears of War franchise. After everything is said and done, Gears of War 4 is a great addition to the franchise. It's probably one of my favorites now because the competitive scene in this game is so much more intense now. It's so much fun to play. The only frustrating thing that I could honestly say about this game was the single player components and mechanics of the AI. That's basically it. The story was phenomenal, the characters are still great and amazing, and the last moments of the final chapters of Gears of War 4 were one of the best in the franchise, not just because of nostalgic value, but because of the possibilities of the future, and that's what makes this game so successful campaign-wise. Multiplayer, it's still great. You have Horde mode that's going to keep you there for hours. Gears of War 4 is a success in my book, and I can't wait to continue playing it with my friends, seeing what I can do by myself, and pretty much just stomp on faces. Like, let's be real. My verdict for this game is that if you're a Gears of War fan like I am, definitely pick it up. If you've never been introduced to the Gears of War trilogy or franchise before it, pick it up. It's free if you've pre-ordered it or anything. They usually have specials on it. It's Xbox One backwards compatible. You can play it on your Xbox One. It's a great franchise and a great game, and Gears of War 4 is the best entry in it so far, and I can't wait to play it again. Pick it up. Join me in some Horde mode and competitive. Let's see if we can stomp on each other's faces, blow shit up together. Who knows? Oh, and by the way, grumpy old Marcus is my spirit animal. Just saying. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching my first ever Gears of War 4 video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help my channel grow. It would be amazing if you did that. If you need help collecting all 50 collectibles in Gears of War 4, I have the locations of all 50 of them in the video at the end here. So check that out. Follow me on social media as well. Send me your questions, your thoughts on Gears of War 4. I'd really like to know about them. And with that, I'll leave you guys to it. Happy grub hunting. Chief out.